Welcome to this 14th video in the Question Everything series. And in this specific video, I question whether we, in this new society that's being created, this new world order, will be allowed to help or save other people. And I will take you back to an experience that I had many years ago that will always stick with me. The day where I tried to save someone's life. I was successful and got into serious trouble for it. And it's something that really shaped my thinking. It made me understand the type of world that we are living in, how far removed humanity is from justice, and many other things. And sharing this with you, I hope that I can take you back with me and for you to understand what I was going through, the physical stress and pain that my body felt, and how my body dealt with this extreme trauma. And to get to the story, and I don't want to stretch this out too long, I was asked by a church in the Melkbosstrand area. The pastor of the church lived in our street, and our children knew his children. And this church had a camp at the Oskop Caravan Park in the Melkbosstrand area, where they camped overnight. Now, I didn't know all the details about this camp, except that on the Saturday they planned to go and swim in the swimming pool. And because I was high level trained in first aid, I was asked if I could help oversee at the pool the kids swimming from a specific time. Now, I think that time was 12 o'clock. I speak under correction. I think that I actually worked a night shift and got home, slept for a period of time, and then drove through. So my family was already there, and my three daughters were at the pool at the time. When I arrived there, I walked in at the entrance of the pool, walked towards the pool, saw my kids, and walked towards them. And all of a sudden, my eldest daughter, Kaylee, literally called out to me and said, "Papa, come and look here." And she pointed to something at the bottom of the pool. Now, as I approached, there were kids swimming all over the pool. There were adults all around. There were adults on the other side of the pool actually watching what was going on. When I got to the side of the pool, I saw a young boy lying at the bottom of the pool. He had already drowned, and for some reason, uh, no one saw this until my daughter actually raised the alarm with me. I dove in immediately with my clothes, lifted him out of the pool, and started resuscitation, which I successfully did. And this boy had been under for a long time, so there was a lot of water in his lungs that I had to get rid of. And the first bit of a problem that I had was a doctor, a normal GP, that was also at the pool, rushing up to me, arguing with me about the recovery position at the time. Now, at Coburg, we got regular retraining and we were trained in the latest methods. And this GP asked him immediately when last he had had training in trauma first aid, and he couldn't answer me, in which case I told him that this is the latest method of recovery and that he needed to lie on his side so that he could vomit or whatever the case may be, which he did. He coughed up a lot of water and struggled to breathe initially. Luckily, he got a pulse again, but he was convulsed really badly at that stage. People called for an ambulance, and the people that arrived were all volunteers at Coburg. I knew them personally very well. They arrived very quickly from Duinefontein, and unfortunately, this man that arrived that day, he was one of the top first aiders at Coburg. He later trained people in first aid and later died of a heart attack. I will always have fond memories of him. And seeing him arrive that day gave me a real warm and fuzzy feeling, because what happened next, I never expected. As I was next to this boy monitoring him, and obviously there's a lot that happened in the resuscitation process, a woman who I assume was his mother arrived there at my side and started shouting and screaming at me. And I did not expect this, saying that she would sue me and that she would clean me out. I would have no money left, things like this. And this shocked me, and I asked people to please remove her from me, because, at that moment, I must have thought, was I supposed to leave him at the bottom of the pool? What was I supposed to do? And her response was probably because of shock, but completely inappropriate for the situation. Now, as bad as that was, and as stressful as that was, as we loaded him on the stretcher, got him into the ambulance, and when he was taken off, taken away, it was clear that he recovered fully later. He had no brain damage. So I acted in time, exactly as I should, exactly as I was trained, and I could save this boy's life. However, this was clearly not good enough. I was very soon contacted by this church and said that there's an inquiry, because this was a church camp, and I believe this mother and the dad of the son, they were divorced, and she trusted the church in nothing happening to him. I had to become part of a case that was brought against the church for damages. And the interesting thing is that there were people there watching at the pool. And what had happened apparently is this boy who said he could swim. They asked him if he could swim, said he could swim. And what he did is he swam out with a beach ball, and at some stage lost the beach ball in the middle of the pool, swam for the side, and just didn't make it. So what happened is, as he got to the side, apparently he just went down. And this is probably why no one saw him, because he was also on the shadow side of the pool at that time. And fortunately, my eldest daughter, saw him at the time, and it was enough time for me to get him out. You know, when someone has actually gone to the bottom, they already have water in their lungs, and it's not a good situation to be in. Now, I don't want any experts here to try and give criticism or anything like that. I'll just delete your comments. I'm telling you a story that deeply affected me. Because here I had to go and sit in inquiries and answer barrages of questions. When I volunteered to help, just arrived, they asked me, "Did you arrive on time?" As if I had a schedule, I was being paid or something like that. I was very taken aback by this, and that people were trying to put blame on me for the boy drowning. I was completely shocked by this. And I started thinking, this must be the worst side of humanity, the darkest side of humanity. People trying to find fault where someone else was trying to save someone's life. Didn't think twice. Didn't think of my clothes, my shoes, or anything like that. Just dove into the water straight down, pulled him out, and started resuscitating him without thinking twice. I didn't believe that I had to think, am I going to sit in a court case later? Am I going to be attacked by the mother of this child? Was I going to be asked and crucified literally in a hearing for this mother to try and make loads of money out of a church? And in that moment, I'm really thankful that the good nature with which I was raised, that my mom taught me, that shone through in that moment. The moment of not thinking except of saving the life of that person, using my own liberty, freedom of choice to protect life. So I exercise my freedom of choice first. And I have to ask myself, and this is the big question everything, will we be allowed in future to be that person that takes that action to save someone's life? And the answer already is no. In many instances, you will not be allowed to just take that action. And then already, the way the legal system worked shone through and showed that people and why people in future will walk past when someone's lying on the ground, when they've been stabbed or shot or hit by a car or anything like that. Why they will just leave the person to die. Is this a world that we want to live in? Do we want to live in a world where we are not allowed to risk our lives or take a risk to save someone else's life? And this is really a very important question to me. What happened next was extremely painful. Because of the trauma, the sheer trauma of what happened that day, my intestines shut down, completely shut down, stopped working. And within 2 to 3 days, I was in extreme agony. I went to the hospital, I had x-rays done, and they had confirmed that my entire intestine was in spasm. And they had to give me special medication, salt, saline solution to drink with many other things to literally get my gut to work again. And I know this is not a very glamorous thing to talk about, but I was being poisoned to death slowly. I felt like I was dying. It was a terrible feeling. And I don't feel a just reward for the efforts that I put in to save this boy. But that is how I experienced it at the time. That is how my body experienced this entire event. It was traumatic, extremely severe trauma. Having just been able to resuscitate the boy, hoping to get him to hospital as soon as possible so that he can get further medical assistance, and being attacked right there verbally by this boy's mother. I could never look at humanity the same way again. I could never trust the way I did innocently other people again. It irrevocably changed the way I look at other people's minds. And I realized that there is so much evil and greed in people out there. People that dress fancy, that drive fancy cars, people that dress dilapidated and drive old jalupis. People from all walks of life have abject evil in them, the ability to bring out their darkest side. Was that mother thinking all the way to that swimming pool how she was going to sue that church, how she was going to make money out of this? It didn't seem once like she was concerned about her child. She didn't in fact touch her child once during that time. She didn't once ask how he is doing. Not once. How is this a mother? And I was just absolutely horrified by what I experienced. Luckily, my system recovered after about 2 weeks, and then I had to deal with these inquests into what happened. And I don't wish this on any other person. The fact that I had to go was absolutely ridiculous. The church begged me to go there. Never did I think that I would be put through the ringer because I decided to arrive one day and help to watch the kids in the pool. Arrive on time, 12 o'clock, as they asked me to. If I didn't rock up that day, I wouldn't have cared, but I did. It's not something I'm being paid for or anything like that. So it made me question a lot. And I want you to question, what would you do if you stop at a motor vehicle accident next to the road? And I know what I do. I act, I apply my training, and I use triage. I use many of the other things I was trained with, make sure that everything is safe. Before I do anything else, I give instructions to people at accident scenes because I'm trained to do that. Get a car upstream and downstream to flag down the traffic, get people to give supplies to help the people that are injured. I normally travel with a first aid kit. It's something that I'm used to. And I've tended to many accident scenes, and I've been able to save many people's lives. I've also seen many people die. So, what kind of world do we want to live in? A world where people behave this way, or a world where people are grateful, where they understand that life is precious and that we can lose life, and that anyone trying to save someone's life is trying to do just that, trying to save someone's life. And if we continue the way that we are now, no one will want to help no one anymore, because the risk will be way too great. And that is why smart cities around the world will be built where no injuries can take place, so that there are no possibilities of people being injured or drowned or anything like that. Think about that world. Thank you so much for sharing this experience with me. There's many more that'll come. This is number 14, and there will be many more in future. I'm glad that I could finally bring you another small portion of my life that make you understand why I am the way that I am. I've had many unique experiences that have brought me to be who I am and to do what I do. Thank you very much for your time. Please subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon if you have not yet. And please watch the other Question Everything series videos, as well as the Moments in Time videos. And join as a channel member so that you can get all the additional content that is available in the members playlist. Thank you so much. Till the next video.